All right, guys, welcome to Remotely Wasted, formerly known as the last podcast for 1 week. We're going to be covering a lot of different things on this show. If you didn't catch us last week, but for the time being, we're mostly covering college football, rankings, Heisman stuff, a lot of different things like that. If you want like a full-on introduction, we have an episode last week. Feel free to check it out. But yeah, I say we jump right into it. Thanks for watching. If you watched us last week, we appreciate the feedback. My audio was shit last week. Got that figured out. We're still figuring things out. We are totally open to criticism. So any criticisms you have, any critiques, anything you want us to improve, any requests, just reach out to us and let us know, and we'll do our best. So what I want to start out this week is with the ranking is just like we did last week, because I feel like that opens up a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. We'll just start off with like the top 10. Make sure this is the right top 10. Just making sure it's AP, because like ESPN and Bleacher Report all have like different things.
I think AP is probably the better of the two.
That's like the official one they use on like TV and shit. Like that'll be like what the ranking is next to the team.
Yeah.
So let's see. I agree with the top 10. So I want to go through the whole top 10. We have Arkansas at number 10, Kentucky at 9, Oklahoma State at 8, USC at 7, Oklahoma at 6, Clemson at 5, Michigan at 4, Ohio State at 3, Alabama at 2, and Georgia at 1. I agree with the teams that are in the top 10. I do not agree at all with the way they're in order.
Some order changes.
So
nothing drastic.
Yeah, what stands out to you? What would you change looking at it?
I'd probably have Oklahoma at 5 over Clemson. Clemson's been looking a little shaky to start the year. They didn't do very well last year, so it's not like they have a great season to kind of propel them in the rankings like Alabama and Georgia and whatnot. I think USC and Oklahoma State are kind of good where they're at. Kentucky they deserve to be right there after knocking down Florida, who was sitting at 12 the previous week. And then Arkansas's looked pretty strong. I don't think Arkansas or Kentucky will stay there for long, but that's really and I'm glad Georgia finally jumped Alabama, which is how the season should have started.
I mean, you'd think with the defending national champions, they should just start off number 1, like just automatically.
Exactly. And then even if they have a average recruiting class, like just leave them number 1. That if they have a bad team, they'll lose eventually.
And as we've learned, recruiting classes don't really mean that much when it comes down to
Texas
it.
A&M.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that. So going into that, do you agree with their top 4? What would your top 4 be?
Yeah, I definitely agree with it. I said Clemson's probably would be a 6 in my eyes, so they don't need to be up there. OU hasn't been looking super strong. I mean, I think they're still trying to catch their stride. They got a new QB, new coach. USC is probably going to catch fire, so they could be sitting at that 5 spot if Clemson eventually loses, and then all they got to do is wait for Ohio State and Michigan to beat each other, and then Georgia and Alabama to beat each other. And then, that could propel Oklahoma and USC up in there, or Oklahoma State if they beat Oklahoma this year. Because I don't really see those teams losing to any other team, maybe Baylor.
Yeah, and they weren't looking too good against BYU.
No, and then, USC is probably going to, stomp out everybody outside of Utah, which that would be an interesting game. But,
so,
yeah.
I'm gonna come through with another hot take on my top 4, because I'm trying to be consistent with the way I rank the teams, and I'm kind of going off of resume, a little bit of strength of schedule, but then also like teams doing what they're supposed to do. So like if a top team blows out a just terrible team, they're gonna get credit for that because they did what they're supposed to do. So my top 4 going into this, I got Georgia at 1, I got Ohio State at 2, Michigan at 3, and then this is like my hot take of the week. Last week I put Florida at 3. This week I got Kentucky at 4.
Kentucky.
Yeah, I got Kentucky at 4. Then I got my next two, first two out. I got Clemson at 5, OU at 6, and really it's just because I'm trying not to be biased. Is why I put Clemson above OU.
Where do you got Bama at?
A 7. Like they'd be right 7. I'd have USC at 8. Like
Jesus. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see Bama realistically sitting like based off the way that they've looked. I mean, they blew out Utah State as they should, and then they should have lost to Texas. I could see them sit at 4 and 5 comfortably without
in my head it's a loss for Bama.
It was going to be a loss.
A backup hurt quarterback.
Yeah, and if Quinn Ewers was there, they was beating them by double digits. Like I'm thinking 17. Yeah, because he was cooking and booking, and they had no answer for him. Their defense was playing okay, and then he went out, and they were still holding them pretty steady, and then a couple missed opportunities on the defensive side for Texas. That wide open sack on the last drive would have pushed the field goal out
poor tackling
pretty far. Potentially would have made it a miss. Alabama's notorious for missing field goals.
That missed a 20-yard field goal from Texas could have shifted that blown call, that safety
fucking
roughing the pass, whatever the fuck that
incomplete. Was. I now looking back at it after I've kind of analyzed the clip a little bit, I think it was an incomplete pass. Yeah, I don't think it was a safety, but I would have liked to see it.
Yeah, that's how I feel, and we hate Alabama. I mean, like this, we have no reason to be unbiased. We hate Alabama.
I'm just tired of seeing Alabama. That's the thing.
I mean, like I respect Alabama. Yeah, but 100%. Fuck Alabama at the same time.
Roll Tide.
So rounding out the rest of the top 25, there's a few interesting things going in there. BYU jumped all the way up to 12, which is well deserved in my opinion. Miami at 13, they're slowly, quietly kind of moving up a little bit. Got the coach from Oregon from last year. What the fuck's his name?
Mario Cristobal?
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
And then we have Texas with a loss jumping up to 21, which is really interesting. Them going from unranked, still losing, but jumping up to 21. I mean, I get it because they played great, but it's just weird. It's weird. There's undefeated teams that are not in the top 25.
Yeah, you don't really see that much. I mean, they're taking a spot from, you got Marshall sitting at the highest, like 85 votes.
Yeah.
Appalachian State. I mean, they're 1-1, so that would be kind of weird. Kansas State's looking pretty good. I'd be okay with Kansas State sliding up, and then North Carolina's 2-0. Yeah, that is weird.
Florida State. I mean, you guys are 2-0.
I mean, we play Friday. If we beat Louisville, then we'll be in there. But yeah, BYU's probably gonna go undefeated. I mean, the hardest game they got is Arkansas left. So.
And I got some shit with Arkansas going through this episode.
It's at home. I mean, they're on the road at Notre Dame. They do go on the road at Oregon, but I think they'll take them. So they'll probably be running a Cincinnati type setup from last year, maybe even squeak in at 4 and probably get blown out.
That's possible, yeah.
And then Miami, they got a decent schedule, so I don't see them winning out. I could see Utah coming back up there. I'm a fan of Utah.
They looked good in their second game.
Good. They looked real good.
I was worried about them, but now I'm like they might be able to win the Pac-12. They look like they could take USC on, which we'll get. Well, this is pretty much our opportunity to get into USC because I don't really see us getting back into USC.
Yeah.
Did you catch much of the game?
I didn't watch any of that game. I didn't get a chance to watch too many of the games. I mean, I caught a couple of the big ones, but I was kind of busy this week and had to resort to the highlights and stats.
So I mean, they looked really good offensively. Defensively, they didn't look as good as it looks on paper.
Yeah.
So Stanford turned the ball over in the red zone twice before the half. That would have made the score 28-21 before the half. I think instead it was like 28-7. So I think Stanford shot themselves in the foot quite a bit. and I fucking hate USC, so I'm not gonna act like I'm not a little bit biased in this. I think they're gonna have the best offense in the entire NCAA this year, without a doubt in my mind. But their defense is questionable. Alex Grinch is he's okay. But I know from having him as a coach of one of my teams, he's not the best. I think USC is going to end up like a lot of those OU teams have the last few years. Their offense is going to propel them to the playoffs, and they're going to face a team that actually has a defense that could kind of stop them a little bit. Yeah. And they're not going to have the defense to match their offense. This is where I see USC.
I see them, maybe getting in a shootout with a random team on their schedule and potentially dropping a weird game. I mean, they got Oregon State on the road. Oregon State is a trap team. They got Utah on the road. They got UCLA on the road, rival. So
That's one of those games that could go either way. Like,
yeah, and then they got Notre Dame at the end of the season. So if they can figure their shit out, then I don't know. It's a decently tough schedule.
What do you think about Texas A&M remaining in the top 25 after that loss?
I don't think they should. I mean, you got upset by Appalachian State. Like, Appalachian State is a very good team this year. I could definitely see them getting into the rankings, but Texas A&M did not look good. They need to get their QB situation figured out.
Overrated.
Absolutely, they had the number one recruiting class in the history of the stat that they've been recruiting classes this past year. Yeah, granted, none of those people are probably playing in this game, but like that's just like an inclination of kind of like what they've been doing recruiting wise, and they've had a top 5 recruiting class like the last couple of years. So they have 5-star talent. I think I seen a stat. It was like A&M like 5-star recruits. It was like an astronomical number, and Appalachian State had like a 1 or something like that. Like, yeah, granted, the stars don't fucking really matter when it comes time to playing, but like that's just like a crazy like imbalance, and they should be winning that game. So I don't think they should be ranked.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the recruiting is a major part of college football as far as coaching, but there's also the X's and the O's, the play calling, that stuff in college football. And I'm questioning if Jimbo Fisher actually has those talents. Because we've seen him kind of fizzle out at the end of FSU, which he kind of was built off of Bobby Bowden. He kind of inherited that. So,
and he had a Heisman quarterback. Like, it's kind of hard to fuck that up. Yeah, and then he hasn't really performed with Texas A&M since he's been there. Like, they drop a game or two to some teams that they should probably win, and they get beat by the teams that are better than them. So, I mean, yeah, they beat Bama last year, but that's it.
I mean, like every now and then they put I mean, like the SEC is so stacked, you're gonna eventually pull off an upset.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think he really has he's a very good recruiter when he wants to. Like those last couple of years at FSU, he did not recruit very well for us. I think because he was, on the way out, he knew he was leaving, and just didn't really care about recruiting, which kind of fucked us for almost the last 8 years roughly. So
and I'll have more to say about Texas A&M going forward on this. But going forward, what was your biggest takeaway of the weekend?
The upsets. I mean, it was like upset central. Like I was looking at the schedule for this weekend, and I was like, there's nothing crazy. You got Alabama, Texas. I was like, that's probably the really only one game I was kind of looking at as being a really good game. I mean, looking at the top couple teams, nobody was playing nothing crazy other than like Baylor and BYU. Texas A&M got upset by Appalachian State. Marshall upset Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Let's see. Kentucky upset Florida in Florida. Like, what? Pittsburgh went down. I think that was it. I feel like there's one more. Yeah, I think there was 4 ranked teams that lost this year, and 3 of them were upsets.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was crazy. I mean, on an off week like this, when there's not no top 10 matchups, and it's not an upset, but you don't really have top 10 teams losing unless they're playing each other or another ranked team sort of right outside the top 10. Like you don't ever have a weekend where you got Marshall and Appalachian State taking down two top 10 teams that are not in a Power 5 conference. Like it's just it was a
weird.
crazy, it was a very crazy weekend.
The Marshall one was a little bit more surprising to me, just based off the fact that Notre Dame had just lost. You would think they would have bounced back a little bit better. Now I'm worried. Like I'm worried about their coach's job. Like I don't know, because Notre Dame is one of those big schools. It's probably like a top 5 like program. Like really,
they don't lose.
They're just one of those teams. You could have a 4-loss season and you're out of there.
100%. 100%.
So my biggest takeaway of the weekend was just injuries. Shot a lot of the teams in the foot. We look at Pittsburgh with Slovis getting hurt, and then their backup quarterback was a little banged up.
Yeah.
They lose to Tennessee. That's a team that I thought could maybe be a sleeper playoff contender.
Tennessee.
And they are
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, and they still could if the committee gives them a pass for the injury at this game. Because
if Tennessee has a good season, then they could.
Tennessee as well. Josh Heupel is their head coach right now. Really good offensive mind. The SEC is stacked right now.
Yep.
Usually, I think it's a little bit overrated, but this year I'm like, no, they're pretty fucking stacked. And then we have, of course, Texas. The injuries going on in that game. And then, Card gets hurt. He's wobbling on one leg.
Yeah, it was crazy. Both of those games, like the starter got hurt and then the backup like also got hurt, but like stuck it out all the way to the end of the game. And
even the healthy Card, I think, could have beat Alabama in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't really. He had that one good run, but he was not able to like move at all.
He used the very last of his strength.
I wonder, have you seen anything? Like, was he actually hurt, or was he just kind of banged up a little bit?
I actually didn't do any research on that. He looked hurt. Like
he did.
I feel like he got a sprain at the very least.
They both looked like they had like either an ankle or a knee injury. I think it was Card had the ankle, because they was talking about it in the game. They was saying like, because he wasn't able to, like, on his plant foot, he wasn't able to really drive the ball. So I mean, he wasn't really able to make any of those kind of downfield big throws.
This is why teams need to get their third string quarterback ready, so you don't have
the punter
wobbling dude on the field. It reminded me a lot of last year. I don't know if you remember the Auburn Alabama game from last year. Auburn's quarterback got it was a similar injury where he was just wobbling around the field. It goes to like multiple overtimes, and the SEC has this new rule where like it's after the third or fourth overtime, it's just like straight 2-point conversions. They just go back and forth on 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
And Auburn dropped the game.
I don't remember that game. Like I feel like I watched it, but like off the top of my head, I don't remember it.
I remember it because of how pissed off I was, and also it was Bedlam that night, which made me even more pissed off. So going forward from there, we got player of the week. Who's your player of the week this week?
I got CJ Stroud. He had a really good game. I mean, they didn't really play anybody. They got Arkansas State. Let's pull up his stat line. All right, so he had 16 for 24, 67.7 completion percentage, threw for 351 yards and 4 TDs, no picks, 93.7 QBR. Pretty solid game. I mean, kind of across the board for kind of the top QBs. I think he kind of stood out as probably one of the better ones. I mean, Drake May for North Carolina had a really good game. Stetson Bennett had a good game. Bryce Young had a good game, but I think he was kind of my player of the week, just based off performance wise. And you could probably argue somebody else based off of just playing a better team or just looking better actually in the game compared to like the stat line.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like Cam Rising for Utah. Like they blew Utah Southern the fuck out. Like you hung like they hung 73 points on them. Like
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty nice.
But yeah, I got CJ Stroud.
That's fair enough. I have him like towards the top of my list. I have Raheem Sanders from Arkansas, their running back. He rushed for 156, 2 touchdowns. He's one of those sleeper Heisman candidates for me. Arkansas is looking really good so far in the season. They beat Cincinnati. They go and beat South Carolina the second week. South Carolina, they haven't looked great, but I mean, they got the talent. They got Radler. They got Stogner at their tight end. Their coach is pretty solid. They just haven't put it together yet, but I feel like that's a win later on in the season. Might look really good for Arkansas. We'll just have to see what Arkansas does from there. But yeah, CJ Stroud did really good. Had a little bit of help from Marvin Harrison Jr., who's looking really impressive. I don't know if you caught his stat line.
I mean, they also didn't have Smith and Jigba too, which is his favorite target. So I mean, it's a little more like impressive coming off of the Notre Dame game where he didn't look super great. Smith and Jigba got hurt, and then he just doesn't have him, and just continuing to just ball out. Like, yeah, Ohio State probably has like the best receiving core in the country, so he should be going nuts. And he's one of the Heisman favorites, so he should be going nuts. So I mean, it's to be expected.
Yeah, the thing with Ohio State that I'm concerned about is after that Notre Dame loss to Marshall, how much does that Notre Dame win actually mean now?
Yeah, it
was kind of the question mark.
It was a close game, and Notre Dame has no offense. Their quarterback is a bum. He also got hurt. He's out.
Yeah.
Another injury. So I don't think it looks super good for Ohio State, but I mean it is a win against a then ranked 8 Notre Dame. So like I don't know. I don't think it's that great of a win, but that's just me.
Yeah, we'll have to see going forward. So we might have the same person for this one, the most disappointing performance by a player. Who you got?
I got coming back for the second week in a row, my boy Spencer Petras.
Oh no shit.
Dude, they had another horrible game. Like he's a senior. Like they won 10 games last year.
They just fired their coach, didn't they? Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They
I
lost
think they just
fired. If they didn't, they should. They lost to Iowa State, 10-7. He threw for fucking 92 yards and a pick. On the season, he's got 3.4 QBR, which is like second in the country. No touchdowns, 201 total yards and 2 picks in 2 games. Like that's just terrible. Like, and they're sticking with them. They're not taking him out. It has to be talked about based off how good Iowa's been, and he's a senior. Like
they've been a respectable team for at least 5-6 years now.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that could win the Big Ten. Like that. I mean, I don't think they'll go undefeated and win the Big Ten, but they can win the Big Ten almost every year. They're a good trap team. Like you don't want to play in Iowa. They have a great home stadium, home atmosphere. And I mean, they got Nevada next week, and they're just gonna get rolled by them, I'm assuming. And he's probably gonna have a similar stat line, and we might be talking about him next week. I'm not letting off of him until there's somebody worse. Until there's somebody worse. There's nobody worse. Like I mean, maybe like Hawaii's QB. I don't even know who the fuck he is, but they got absolutely blown out by Michigan. So like,
I'll tell you mine, which is who I thought yours was also gonna be. Haynes King from Texas A&M, 97 yards passing.
He's not good right now. I think he can be good.
21.3 QBR.
Yeah, I mean, he has the potential to be good. Like he's got the talent. I don't know what the fuck he's got going on.
It might be coaching. I mean, like it could be coaching. Also, there's like a QB battle. He might just not be ready. which let's see, he's a sophomore, so he's a little young.
He might not have his job for much longer if he keeps fucking around.
I think there's a lot of people at Texas A&M who might not have their job for much longer.
No, yeah, I'd probably not. But yeah, that would have been honorable second for me probably.
Yeah,
I was kind of combing through the games and I was just like looking for anybody that kind of stood out, like because outside of the games you watch for the week, if you're not watching every game, like you don't really know who's having these bad games. And I was like, well, I'd heard
I'm
about
search of Iowa because I bet he's playing like shit again.
I already heard about it. Like I seen how bad they did. That I was like, okay, let me check his stat line. Fucking bum. Yeah, and then like out of the the top 25 which is really mainly where I'm looking. I'm not looking for a fucking FCS school unless dude goes 0 for like 100 on passing or something astronomical. It's gonna make headlines. But yeah,
you're normally looking for a Power 5 guy.
Yeah, and he's my guy for now. So we'll see.
If you're watching,
I don't hate
this man hates you.
I don't know anything about the guy, but I just know he's not good.
He thinks you're a bitch.
I'll fight him.
So going from there, Heisman top 5. Who you got?
It's pretty similar to last week. I got one dropping out, one moving in, and kind of shuffled around a little bit. Number 1, CJ Stroud, just based off of he had a really good game this week, probably arguably better than maybe some of the other people in my top 5. And they're an undefeated team. They're ranked number 3. That all goes in his favor. He's got a chance to win the Heisman Trophy. So I got him number 1. But I mean, you could argue the top 3 in any order for me. Stetson Bennett 2. He didn't have as big of a crazy game as he did last week. He had a really good game, and they weren't also really playing anybody, just like Ohio State. So it's like you kind of interchange him. Bryce Young number 3. He played a really good game, and he led his team to a win. Which I mean, you could probably, if you want to take that one nugget and slide him up into 1 or 2, based off of the leadership aspect and the clutch factor. I could definitely see it, and honestly wouldn't have any problem with it. I just also think because he is, the Heisman winner last year, I don't know if they would give him back-to-back Heismans if he is not having if he's not miles
he has to be
better.
breaking records. Like
he has to be just better than the people that are right there with him. And I mean, if he goes into the Heisman, at the end of the season and he's just sitting there with the other guys, like I don't know if they would give it to him. Like I feel like you have to do something crazy to deserve back-to-back Heismans, like something crazy.
It's only happened one other time, and that was like 40 years ago.
I mean, if they're in the fucking playoffs and in the championship game, because the Heisman comes out right before the championship game, I'm pretty sure.
It comes out the week after the conference championship, so right after the playoffs have been announced. I believe this is when it comes out.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. And then 4, Caleb Williams. He's cooking. Based off their schedule, and then the Pac-12's kind of no defense, he could catapult himself up in a first just based off of how many yards he's throwing. And then that could be also a disadvantage for him because you got like Stetson Bennett, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud right up there ahead of him playing better teams consistently. Yeah. But I think he could potentially move himself up, and I think he probably will. He's gonna have a good year. And then 5, I still got Bijan Robinson. He had a pretty good game he had 100 yards rushing on Bama and like a touchdown. I mean, the touchdown he had was kind of a walk-in, but I didn't really see enough to take him out of my top 5. And I mean, there's some people sitting there right on the edge that could very well hop up in there. Drake May's sitting 4 in QBR on the season. And Caleb Williams, he's sitting number 2 on the season, 97.4. Like, Drake May, if they go, have a really good year and he throws for more yards, he can get himself up in there. Quinn Ewers, he would have probably. He
could have had his Heisman moment right there.
If he wouldn't have got hurt and they would have beat Bama, I'd probably have him sitting at 4 or 5 on this list based off that one game alone. Other than that, I mean, there's no one. Cam Rising for Utah, he's top 10. If they come back and have a good year, he can get himself up there. Jordan Travis. I mean, we'll see how he looks this week. KJ Jefferson for Arkansas, but other than that 10 right there, I think it's gonna be one of those 10 that's gonna win it. But
Yeah, I mean,
I rambled on a little bit there out of my top 5.
I mean, I agree with most of your top 5. I have a few differences, mainly in order, and then a couple. Let's see. I don't think I've left. I left one guy out that you had. I actually have Caleb Williams at number 1, just based off the way he's looking so far. Hate to say it. Fuck you, Caleb. Fuck you,
hot.
USC. Nah, I mean, I don't really hate you, Caleb. I hate you, Lincoln, though, for real. But he looked really good. He looked really good the first week. I don't see him having much trouble in the Pac-12. It's a very weak defensive conference. The Big 12 is a close competition as far as defensive, but they're like he's got a cakewalk to the Heisman as long as they don't get some stupid upset. 2, I got CJ Stroud. I mean, what can you say about him? I mean, he didn't do anything bad, and he's looking great. Like
he had a great game. So
Stetson Bennett, I have at 3. He didn't have like the craziest performance ever, but he did what he needed to do against a shitty team, and he looked pretty fucking good the first week. I see no reason to take him out of my rankings until he does something terrible. Then 4 is where things kind of stray off because I have a tie at 5, which I think I had a tie at 5 last week as well. 4, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. for Ohio State. He looked really, really good. I didn't even know Marvin Harrison had a son. Hall of Fame receiver for the Colts.
Yeah.
Great player. He's looking really good. I'm curious to see if he keep it up, as he also has a lot of other receivers he has to kind of share stats with. So I don't know if he'll be able to keep it up the whole season, but he was looking really good. And then 5, I have a tie between Raheem Sanders at Arkansas and Bryce Young. Bryce Young didn't play great, but he was not the reason Alabama was in that situation. He didn't throw any interceptions. He was smart with the ball, and he had a clutch drive at the end. He's one of those players where he could easily be like my number 2 next week, number 3. He could work his way back up. I took Bijan Robinson out and Jordan Travis out from last week. Jordan Travis didn't play, so he just kind of got unlucky there. And then Bijan Robinson, he looked okay. He struggled a little bit early on, and he's another one of those guys. He could work his way back in, but for now, I was just more impressed by the other guys on my list.
Yeah, I mean, also you got to look at Alabama's defensive line on Bijan Robinson's aspect. Like, their NFL talent defensive line, and he was still able to post over 100 yards. And I don't think Texas has a super good offensive line. But I mean, we'll see as the season goes on, and he's kind of playing, some middle of the road teams, and see if he's like having a really good season, or if he's just gonna have an average, averaging 100 yards a game type thing.
I mean, he's easily going to be a first-round pick in the draft. I don't know if he's going this year. I'm assuming he's going this year. I think he's a senior or junior.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't go in the first round. I mean,
he might be conserving himself for that. I mean,
I don't know why you would. I mean, this was Texas's year. I mean, they were supposed to be back. I mean, maybe after seeing Quinn Ewers go down, he's probably like, fuck it. I'm just.
They might be back. I mean, have you looked into Ewers? Like, is he coming back? I haven't actually even looked into that.
I heard he had a clavicle sprain. I don't know how close it might be to a fracture or broken.
It's probably at least a 5-week injury.
Yeah, I mean, broken collarbones are anywhere like 6 to 8 weeks. And if it's even something similar to that, then that's a good majority of the season. It's almost all this. It's like half the season.
Which, I mean, Texas looked good enough to where I think in the Big 12 they could hang without him. It's just those Oklahoma State, Baylor. It's going to be hard to compete without a great quarterback.
If they can get, to when he's coming back, like say he misses, 4 games, that's UTSA, at Texas Tech, West Virginia home, and then at Oklahoma. and then he'd be coming back for Iowa State, OK State, and Kansas State. So I mean, they'd probably lose to Oklahoma with their QB that they got now, unless their defense just shows up. But they could be a 2-loss team at the end of the year if he comes back. But I wouldn't see him wanting to rush back if they're not playing well and they have a bad record. I mean,
he's only a freshman as well, so
yeah. But I mean, they got Arch Manning coming in next year, so like if he kind of sits the rest of the season out and then he's only played 2 games and then you got Arch Manning coming in who's pretty good. I mean, he's not nothing crazy, but
he's gonna bring the fans in the stands, like for sure, with
exactly.
his name.
And then if Quinn Ewers, does miss a season, they got the QB battle in camp, which I mean he should beat him. And then he maybe starts having bad games. The fans are gonna be like, all right, put Arch Manning in. He's fucking the reincarnation of Peyton and Eli. So like, I don't know.
I feel like if he doesn't have a good season, he's probably gonna enter the portal. Like I would if I was him, just like I wouldn't want to risk it.
I mean, he entered the portal to go there. Like he left. What is he? He was
at Ohio
State. No,
State.
yeah, and then he left to go to Texas. So for some reason, I thought he was at Georgia.
Yeah. No, he was. It was. What's his face? That was at West Virginia's guy. He was at Ohio State, went to Georgia, then went to West Virginia.
Now they're getting fucked on.
Yeah,
West Virginia
sucks for him.
West Virginia's not that good this year.
So going forward, we got the game of the week. I feel like we got the same game of the week, but I'll let you go ahead and say yours.
I wanted to do like the game of the week is Texas Bama for me. Just because it was a very good game, but it was also not like a good game in the same aspects. Like there was really bad officiating, obviously a big QB injury, which you don't want to see. And then both teams didn't really look that great, so they was kind of just beating each other up. But it was a good game, because it's at the time #1 Alabama against Texas, who's going to be going to the SEC. They're going to be playing each other, so it's kind of like a sneak peek on what you might see in the next year or two. Like, was it 2 years now when they go to the SEC? It's not next season; it's the year after.
They're trying to work out a deal to get in there next year, but as of now, I think it's 2025 is what's scheduled, but it could be as early as 2023.
Yeah, and so you got kind of a sneak peek onto like what you might see. You got Steve Sarkisian, who was with Nick Saban, almost got him, and on that aspect, like because of that, that's why it's my game of the week. There was a lot going on. It had high stakes. It came down to the last drive of Alabama, and then I also had Marshall and Notre Dame. Really big upset. Notre Dame should not be getting upset at home by Marshall, and Marshall looked pretty good. Just based on that, I was like, this was I watched a good bit of that game, and Marshall did look really well.
Good team.
Take that for what you will.
I think Marshall should have got maybe in the top 25, like at the very end, at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same. I have Alabama, Texas. It might not have been the best played game or the best officiated game, but it was the most entertaining game of the
week. Oh, 100%. 100%. Unless you like the upsets. But
yeah.
I mean, everybody loves them, but everybody likes a good, high stakes, talent filled game.
Yeah, and it was just Alabama getting that close to losing. Feels like it happens at least like twice a year where you think you got them and then
I could taste it.
Something happens at the end.
I could taste it. If it's not Auburn, they're not losing.
I was so fucking pissed at the end of that game.
Yeah,
that missed sack really got me.
I was like so pissed off. My wife was like, "What?" And then I just turned the TV off after the game was over. I was heated. I was like, how do you miss that? Like he's a transfer from Ohio State, so like he's got talent, and he's got good experience. Like I don't know how you just miss an open tackle like that. Bryce Young's not that big. Like
I think he just got excited and was like, "Oh, I got him," and he just fucking dove for him, and I think he went over his head. Maybe like it was like some weird shit where he kind of just jumped over him a little bit.
I don't remember if he tried to hit him high. I think he did, and he kind of was able to shrug it off. Like, and because you can't really hit QBs low. Like, So like you can't really fucking
You
hit
can't hit
QBs
QBs
anywhere.
at all. Like
You got a 2-hand touch them below the waist.
yeah.
It was
It was a great game though. I mean, Texas put up a good fight. I'm curious to see what they do. But fuck, man. Seeing Alabama get that close, you're like, my team's this much closer if Bama gets knocked off.
Well, yeah,
Even though those will still probably find a way back in.
I think if Bama would have lost, I mean, I don't know if they would probably still be in the top 10 just because it's fucking Bama. Like, I could see him dropping to like 6, like at the furthest, which is crazy. Because if it was like if Ohio State fucking lost to an unranked Texas team, like they probably would drop to like 12.
They would drop Georgia, honestly, probably like with the way they disrespected them to start the season.
If it was Clemson, they drop them to like 17. If it was OU, fucking probably 9.
Bro,
like,
OU is crazy. Like ESPN has OU as like ranked 15 or some shit right now. I'm like, y'all are fucking haters.
I mean, maybe they might probably shouldn't have been ranked so high to start the season, based off of all the new pieces that they got going.
I mean, I see the argument.
But I mean, they're 2-0. They didn't play like super well, but they're getting some steam going.
It's like Brent Venables. If you paid any attention to him in the past few years, he's pretty fucking solid defensively.
He's a defensive mastermind. I hated playing Clemson because of that, man. Glad he's gone.
All right, going from there. Let's see. Best performance by a team.
I put Utah. I'm really sold on Utah. I like them. They should be 2-0 right now. Bad QB decision has them at a loss. They fucking blew Southern Utah 73-7, as they should. But I mean, putting 73 points up after a close loss, that was a very tiring loss. You could tell playing in Florida in the humidity, like those people, they were gassed. So like to come back a week after that and play that well, which a lot of the times you see teams go down and play Southern teams like that are not, used to that. The next week they don't look that good. A good amount of the time. I'm not saying it's all the time. And it was a very close game, and with that close, loss, which knocked them out of the top 10. Like, I mean, that would demoralize the shit out of me if I was on that team, and the QB like making that bad decision, and then they come back and hang 73 on a team, which they should do. So
I mean, the way they responded is great. It's lifted my faith in Utah. I'm rooting for Utah. I'm rooting for everybody in the Pac-12 to beat USC. So any Pac-12 team that's looking good, I'm rooting for you, especially UCLA.
Maybe not the best played game, but I just think based off those factors, for me, it was my best game of the week.
They got next week. I'm about to look at that.
I was just looking at it. They got San Diego State, and then on the road to Arizona State.
Arizona State just played Oklahoma State. I don't know if you caught that game at all.
I didn't. How'd they look?
Oklahoma State looked really good. Arizona State was a little shaky. Oklahoma State looked pretty terrible that first game. They looked way more comfortable the second game. Defensively, they only allowed 17 points compared to the, I think, 42 they allowed the first game.
They get their defense shored up, man.
Spencer Sanders, he's a great quarterback.
He's crazy. Like he has these games, and you're like, holy shit, like this dude's incredible. And he's got other games, and you're just like, he makes bad decisions in like the worst times. Or
I think it has a lot to do with Oklahoma State coaching.
Where he tries to do too much, and he just makes a bad decision.
Like Spencer Rattler.
Trying to force the ball into a bad throw or running when he doesn't need to be running. Like, man, he's got wheels and he's a very good runner, but decision making could be better.
He makes me a little nervous going into this. Could be the last Bedlam game, which is really sad to say. Me and Jaden are both from Oklahoma. That's a huge game in Oklahoma. Like, if you're from Oklahoma, like Jaden's kind of like an exception, but you're either an OU fan or an OSU fan. And when that game happens, like a lot of people think OU Texas is like the big rivalry. I really think it's OU Oklahoma State. This could be the last year. It's really sad actually to see it end.
They could always have them as an out of conference game, like FSU Florida does. Like, I mean, we play them every year, our last game of the year, which they could do something like that. Which I think they should. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Absolutely, they should. It seems at the moment that the schools are a little bitter with each other. I'm hoping they can work something out. OSU is
It'd be
obviously
beneficial for both of
OSU's
them.
losing a lot of money from this. I mean, OU is too, but OU also still has the Texas game and some other thing, and the SEC like Bama, A&M. OSU, that's their main rival, and they're not going to have anybody else of that level in the Big 12. Even the 4 teams added in, it's Houston, BYU, Cincinnati, which that could be a respectable team. And
BYU
who's the other
always
one?
solid.
Central Florida, which at the
Central
time
Florida's
when they added
ass.
them, they looked really good. At this current moment, I don't know.
I don't think they'll be good for a while. I mean, maybe go into the Big 12 will improve their recruiting, but and then OSU, I think they should just try to go to the Big 10. I mean, if OU goes to SEC, I'd be like, yo,
let us come over there,
please.
So I mean, I'm kind of down to go off on a little tangent on this with the whole conference realignment thing at the moment. It looks like we're gearing up to have 2 just super conferences, a Big 10 and SEC. And this can kind of transition into our favorite team stuff. What do you think Florida State should do at this moment? Should they be making a move to one of those 2 teams, or do you think they could make things work in the ACC?
I think if nobody else leaves the ACC, then I think we stay. But I think the Big Ten's trying to get I think Duke and there's North Carolina
and Notre Dame, who's like kind of in the ACC.
Also mainly for basketball, like they're powerhouse basketball teams, which draws a lot of revenue. I mean, nothing like college football, but their college football teams aren't great, and they wouldn't be great in either of those 2 conferences. And if Clemson goes, then I think we should go. Probably to the same conference, because I know they both want Florida State. I think if we do leave, we'll probably go to the SEC, because I think we can compete in SEC and the Big Ten. I mean, maybe not right now, but depending on how our season looks, I think we could. We're building, so I think we'd be fine.
Well, Florida State's a big brand. Like it's a top 10 to 15 brand in the country. I'd say top 10, like honestly.
Mostly off of academics too. Like it's a very good academic school. But
and on both sports, basketball too. You guys have had top picks.
Yeah, we was in the Final Four one year. The year it got canceled. Like we
was gonna Isaac, yeah.
I think we was gonna win that year. I was a little upset. But if no teams leave, like the big teams, I think we will be okay. We're not, we're gonna be powerhouse conferences, but I think we'd still make playoff spots. And we could still, schedule these out of conference games, the Clemson, Georgia, Florida State, Florida. But I mean, there's like the 5 teams. It's FSU, Clemson, Miami, Duke, and North Carolina. Like those, and then if you count Notre Dame as an ACC school, which like they're kind of like half.
Like they're a football. They can play in the championship, can't they? Like
no, I think their basketball is ACC or some shit. They're like half in, half out. I don't know. Maybe it might have expired.
They're still trying to be. They want to join a conference, and they're trying to act like they don't want to. Is what I think it is.
I don't think they should. They're an independent school, and if they go undefeated, they make the playoff, no matter what. Like it's easy. But if those five teams are the core, and if they all get together, but I think they got the ACC has like a really bad like deal with I think ESPN, and like you see these 2 people getting these 2 conferences, the SEC and Big Ten, getting these huge television deals and all this money, and then
ESPN's behind all of this really,
and ACC's locked into I think until like 2026 with ESPN on like a shitty deal, and like they won't let us leave, so like they're trying to figure out either if we want to leave, how the fuck we get out, or restructure something.
You can always get out early if you got enough lawyers. Is what I've learned about it, because OU and Texas seem like they're about to leave. To me, it just seems like the fate of college football like rests in the hands of just a few schools. That's Florida State, Clemson, Notre Dame, UNC, Duke, obviously are two big players in that. Also Oregon in the
yep.
Pac-12, Stanford. Those are probably in Oklahoma State. I'd probably throw them in there. Are kind of like it's either going to be these two big conferences or the ACC, Big 12, and Pac-12 could kind of stay relevant as long as it doesn't go any further than it has.
Yeah, if no more teams switch, I think they're okay. But if I think one team leaves, it's gonna domino like that one conference.
I feel like maybe two of those should merge.
I would be okay with like the Big 12 and the ACC merging for like a super conference. That'd be fucking sick. I mean, you would even play like every team in the conference in like 2 years. Like it'd be weird, like scheduling wise. And then like it would kind of fuck you because like you might have 1 year where you're playing all the shitty teams in the conference and you got no good games, and you're like, well, fuck, I can go undefeated. And then they're like, oh, you got a shitty schedule. Like
it's weird, and you raised a good point last week when we were talking about Notre Dame. Like, there's a 12-team playoff, so I feel like there is less incentive to switch conferences.
Yeah, 100% now. I thought they decided to pull the trigger on that. I don't think anybody leaves unless like there's a big money deal go down. Like it'd have to be all, but it's got to be about money. That's the only way that they're gonna leave.
All right, going from there, favorite team talk. I'll start off on this topic because we've kind of discussed over the past week introducing a couple of new topics. So Florida State would be a good transition into like some of our previews for next week. OU, because Florida State didn't play this week, so there's not much to reflect on.
Yeah, you go ahead.
OU kind of looked like shit the first half against Kent State. It was 7-3 at halftime. I had to kick my girlfriend out. And I'm being dead ass serious. It was legit over the game. I was like, you need to leave. And I sent her packing. And guess what? We scored 26 points unanswered after that.
Some people got those weird traditions. That might have to be one of them.
No, I mean, like, so the thing is, the first ever sports thing I watched with her was when the Suns were playing the Bucks last year in the finals. I was rooting for the Suns because Chris Paul played for the Thunder. I was, hoping to see a former Thunder guy win. They fucking lose. I didn't think much of it. Fucking Auburn, Alabama. I was watching at their fucking house. Alabama fucking wins in overtime. Fucking third game. Bedlam, that same fucking night. We lose. And then on fucking Saturday, Texas and Alabama are playing. Texas has the fucking lead. She texts me, I'm here. I get in her car. I'm watching the shit on my phone. And then they fucking lose. And,
I mean, coincidence?
And then we start watching OU and Kent State. And I was like, I've had enough. I'm like, you got to leave. You've got to fucking leave.
You're dead to me. On game days.
I'm burning stage before we go to the K-State game. Like, I'm making her fucking. I'm looking up every fucking ritual.
You might need
I'll take her to fucking church. I don't fucking know.
Stuff your pockets with some sage. Toss some holy water on her, and.
But second half, it was like night and day. OU looked great in the second half. The defense looked good the whole game. Only allowed 3 points. That's kind of what gave me a lot of hope. The defense has looked really great so far this season. In 2 games, we've only allowed 17 points. At this point last year, we had allowed 35. So that's about 50% less points we've allowed this season. Brent Venables has definitely turned things around. We have Ted Roof as well as a defensive coordinator. We stole a guy from Alabama. I think Jay Valet is his name. He's really good. Offense was a little shaky to start the game off. I think what's going on right now is OU is being a little conservative, trying not to show too much of their playbook, which I think is actually really fucking stupid. Well, because you're going to blow a dumbass game. Like,
that's what we did our first week. We played it super conservative and only ran the ball. And then, second week against LSU, we're bringing out all the stops. So like, it's probably a similar situation.
And then going forward with OU, we play Nebraska Saturday, 11 a.m. Nebraska was like a number 2 on my most disappointing performances.
Yeah,
Um,
they just fired their coach like at
they make
Nebraska.
me nervous though because it seems like when teams fire their coach, they come back that next game fucking on
Like
fire.
they're all pumped up because they got a new coach and like some random fucking dude off
It's all in their heads too. They're like, we're better now. Like we
the
got a different
goddamn
coach.
water boy that's everybody's friends is now the coach, and they're all like, hell yeah, like let's win this game for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they do. Like, it's
It
crazy.
makes me so nervous because like on paper, yeah, OU should just beat the shit out of this team. But like I know in my heart, like this is gonna be a game. And
Well,
it's at 11 a.m., which is the worst time to play.
and it's a historic rivalry. Like,
And I don't know if you know this. So like OU has the second most sellouts in a row. Number one, Nebraska.
oof.
That's a loyal ass fan base considering Nebraska's been fucking dog shit.
They've been ass since like the '90s.
They've been asked since they left the Big 12, and they were right on the line of being asked while they're still in the Big 12 those last few years.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him being an issue. You guys playing in Nebraska?
Yeah, that's what makes me nervous. And it's at
Man.
11 a.m. The fire and the coach, like I think we'll be good. Like we should win this game by at least 3 scores, but you never know.
I think if you guys can at least make it a half and it's close, or you guys might be losing close, I think they can, turn it around like Kent State. Venables he's a good coach. I think he can make adjustments.
That's what I saw last week. We were playing bad. He got the guys fired up. Like I don't know if you ever heard him talk. I was at the spring game. Like he was getting me pumped up. Like I was ready to suit up.
Put some pads on, go run some routes.
He's great. Nebraska's makes me a little nervous. Their quarterback's Casey Thompson, which I don't know if you know who he is. He was Texas quarterback from last year, so he knows OU, but he also doesn't know OU because we're not running with Alex Grinch's fucking dog shit defense anymore.
It's a new team. So.
Yeah, fuck you, Alex Grinch, you piece of shit. Not that you're gonna hear this, but if you ever do, fuck you.
I think last year I watched the Nebraska OU game. And I had a buddy over from work, and he was an OU fan, and I was actually rooting for Nebraska, and I thought they was gonna get you. I think OU ended up winning by a decent margin, but it was it was exciting for sure.
And I'm sure you'll be rooting for Nebraska this week as well.
No, I mean actually I'll probably root for OU. I wouldn't mind seeing them, going into the playoffs and maybe knocking off one of these teams that are always in there. I'm just tired of seeing the same teams win.
It's pretty much been Clemson, Bama,
Ohio
and
State,
Georgia. Yeah. Which I still kind of like Georgia. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because they're kind of new blood, like they're just now starting to win championships. But I like them the best of these kind of dominant schools.
I'm cool with it. Their defense is fucking nasty. They've allowed 1.5 points like average per game to like scored against them. Like that's insane. Like 1.5 points.
They're like an NFL defense. Like how many guys they have drafted in the first round last year? It was a crazy amount. Like I know there's a few guys where I was like, God damn, how many guys?
I think it was like honestly it was like 12 or 18, like something weird. It was double digits. Like
did you guys get a Georgia guy? Or that might have been the Jets.
Yeah, no, we had fucking Jermaine Thompson, Jermaine. Oh my god.
And by you guys, I mean the Giants. For those of you who don't know.
Oh, who the fuck did we get? Can't even.
You guys got the Oregon guy, KT. I can't remember who your other pick was. Oh, it was the Bama Evan Neal. So I guess you guys probably didn't get a Georgia guy. I think the Jets might have got a Georgia guy.
No, that shit was like 6 months ago.
I can't quite remember the whole draft. But going from there, we'll go to Florida State. They didn't play this week. Quick. What's up?
I'm gonna go fill up my drink. I'll be right back. We can get right back up there.
I kind of need to get a drink too.
Hell yeah.
Just stand by, guys. All right. I apologize for that drink break. But I mean, we sit here for a minute. We go through these drinks really quick. And honestly, I'm not as drunk as I was last week. It's a little bit disappointing. But yeah, if you guys have made it this far into the show, comment down below what you'd like to see next week. We're looking for more suggestions. We're gonna be doing more than just football. We're just kind of getting started. Football is like a common thing. Me and Jaden got. We love football, but we're gonna be exploring different topics. Anything you'd like to see, just let us know. We'll do what we can. I know we've discussed like Jaden's really into gaming, so he'll probably do some of that, especially like on our YouTube channel. We've discussed like movies, just different things. We might just do some random shit where we just talk about random shit. Yeah. I just started talking at the camera. It's a little weird actually. I'm not used to it.
I mean, like if you get a line, you just take it and you go with it. I don't know. It's basically just like talking to yourself. So
yeah, it's a little weird. That's what I mean. It's a little weird. I'm gonna get up real quick.
Where are you going? This man. Unbelievable. But yeah, like you're saying, just getting into random stuff. I'm excited to do the little gaming portion. That should be fun. Nice, dude.
This is tobacco. This is nicotine.
Vape Nation.
If the government's watching.
All right. I guess we'll get into FSU. I'll just talk about kind of expectations for the week, and I mean we're coming off the bye, so we should be rested. Our fucking starting right tackle got injured. I don't remember if it was during the LSU game or it came out after. I think he might have went out that game, and then it came out that he's out for the season. Really not what we need. Our offensive line is always fucking ass. So that's some issues we don't need. I almost would have preferred it to be just about anybody else. But I mean, we got Louisville. It's a Friday night game, which is nothing. Nobody wants to play a Friday night game. Those are the trap games. I remember. I think it was. I can't remember what year it was. I think we played Louisville on like a Thursday night or some a weird off day, and we lost. Like we got upset. I'm pretty sure it was Louisville. Might have been NC State, but I was hella upset. I think I was at Taekwondo practice, and I checked my phone after, and I was like, "What the fuck?" We was like projecting a really good year, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking joking!"
That was a long ass time ago. I think.
Like shit in my ass. Come on. But yeah, look at Louisville. I mean, they're nothing crazy. They're 1-1. They lost to Syracuse. For some reason, fucking Syracuse, people think they're gonna be good this year, and I think we're actually projected to lose to them by like a substantial margin, which really doesn't make sense to me. They beat UCF by 6. That UCF's not good this year. We are playing them in Louisville, which I really enjoy that. But like looking at their team, Lake Cunningham, he's nothing crazy. He's got 353 yards, no TDs passing, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks. I mean, 5 sacks through 2 games, that's a good sign. Our defensive line is looking really good, and I'm hoping we'll get a couple stacks in. I mean, he's got 155 rushing yards, so we're facing another fucking mobile quarterback who's probably better than Jaden Daniels in LSU, so that's a little worrying, but I mean, we just came off of a rushing QB, so I mean, if we, kind of lock down, because he's not going to beat us through the air. He's going to have to beat us with his feet. I mean, I think he's gonna have to beat us with his feet if they are gonna beat us. Other than him, I mean, their running backs had 164 yards, 2 TDs. It's okay. They got the interception leaders got 1, so it's not they don't got no crazy defensive backs that are just ball hawking out there. I don't know. I really don't see us losing. We should win this game. I swear to God, if we do lose, I'm going MIA for like a month. They're averaging 13 and a half a game. That's not that great. I think we can give up 13 and a half and still win. I'm expecting a 35-21, 35-17 win for us. I think that's reasonable. I think we're definitely capable of scoring 35. I definitely think we're going to be running the ball a lot like we did week 1. We have 3 badass running backs, and we're not going against a defensive line all in the NFL like LSU has got. Like that they have an LSU talent defensive line, and we did not run the ball super great like we kind of wanted to. And I just kind of think we're going to have our way with their defensive line. We're going to run the ball really well, and I don't even think Jordan Travis is going to need to do anything crazy. I think he'll probably throw for 215, 230 yards, probably touchdown. And I think we'll probably have most of our touchdowns will be from our running backs, whether it be a receiving touchdown off a long wheel route or a little screen or something like that. Or they're just gonna pound the shit out of the ball, which I'm hoping they do. I hope they just wear them out on the ground. I really hope we just give them the business. And if our defense is living up to how they're supposed to be playing and the kind of hype that we got with them, we should do really well. So I'm a little nervous. This is a trap game. In every manner of the word, this is a trap game. And like, who the fuck plays Friday? Friday in the afternoon?
Is that just an ACC thing? Like, I feel like I see a lot of ACC games that are Pac-12 and ACC like heavily on Fridays.
I guess. And then Louisville played last Friday too, like, or on the 9th. Yeah, that was last Friday.
This ain't high school, like.
Yeah, I really don't get it. And we play them at 3:30 in the afternoon, so like really not. It's not prime time or nothing. Like it's fucking just after people get off work. Like it's. I don't know. I don't really feel great about it. I'm a little nervous, to be fair.
I think you guys should win. It definitely looks like you guys will. It'll be interesting to see the running game, how it does against like a reasonable team. Like you guys played fucking Blue Mountain State, who the fuck you played the fucking first week. And then you played LSU, who's like an elite defense, the next week. So now you guys got just a reasonable matchup. It'll be interesting to see how that running game does, because they looked amazing that first game. And what you guys look at, like 3 solid running backs, I feel like that you guys were rotating with.
We had 3 100-yard rushers in the first game. Like that's the first time in our school history that's ever been happened. I don't know really too many schools in history that's ever happened for. Like you have 3 running backs putting 100 yards in one game. And yeah, it was Duquesne. Like that, it's like a high school team almost.
I forgot their fucking.
I did too. I just had to look it up. I
kept thinking it was Old Dominion, but that was like a different team that played Old Dominion.
Old Dominion fucking upset Virginia Tech.
So yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
Old Dominion's not that bad. I don't know. It's just I got a weird feeling about it. Like I don't know what it to be like last year, but last year was different. Like because we played Notre Dame close and that ruined us. Like I think that tanked our morale, and then we got upset by fucking an FCS school the week after for the first time in our history. So I mean, Louisville's not an FCS school. I don't know if we're gonna be coming high off that win that we weren't supposed to win, and drop a loss on Louisville, and then it's just gonna tank our season. Like if we lose this game, we might beat Boston College. I think if we lose and we have that bad momentum, we'll lose to Wake Forest, we'll lose to NC State, we'll lose to Clemson. We'll probably beat Georgia Tech, probably lose to Miami and Syracuse, beat Louisiana, and then lose to Florida. Like, I
see where you're going.
I think we have to win.
I don't think you guys are going to lose. I think this is a lot mentally tougher Florida State team that we've seen probably since like the 2014, 2015, around that era. This is the best looking team I think I've seen since the first like playoff appearance by Florida State, like that first year they had the playoffs. I don't think
Oregon.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a better Florida State team in a while. I mean, you guys have had what 2 or 3 losing seasons in a row, or just not very good seasons.
We've not been good. Like I said, in like 8 years, like we've been just average as fuck, losing seasons. Yeah, it hasn't been looking good, and we've had talent on our rosters too. Like this isn't even. I don't think this is even our most talented team we've had since then. I think we just have a better coach. We got a culture rebuilt. Norvell is kind of getting his guys in. We're kind of getting Taggart's guys out that he brought in for his short stint. And then, yeah, he was kind of behind the 8 ball on his coaching tenure as well. So, Jimbo Fisher just fucked us from as soon as that national championship was over. And even that year, we had a lot of problems. We had a lot of off the field issues. Like,
was that the fucker right in the pussy year?
Yeah, that was the year we won the championship, and then I'm pretty sure it might have been the year after.
That was the year after.
Yeah, because we was gonna repeat. It was supposed to happen, and then we fucking get blown out by Oregon in the playoffs. It was bad. Like it was just bad juju, and then Jimbo fucked us, and then left, or left in a void. Taggart couldn't fix it, and I don't know. I think we're back.
Off to a good start. I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying about the 5-star talent isn't quite as important as what the coach is actually doing, and the players will to win. Like
I will say off that topic, I think the transfer portal is going to be way more impactful than recruiting. Like 100%. Like our whole team is like rebuilt from transfers.
Oh yeah.
Jermaine Johnson, that's his fucking name. Transfer from Georgia and first round pick in the NFL. Like a lot of our big players are transfers from other schools that maybe were second stringers and now they're starters on our team and they're fucking balling out. And that's a lot of teams in college football. They got a lot of transfers. You see a lot of Ohio State transfers, like a lot. Just because their skill positions are really deep and really good, and
they're bringing so many guys in. Like there's only so much room to start, so somebody's got to leave.
If you're not starting by a sophomore, you kind of got to go.
We've seen it time and time again, and I mean the transfer portal. I mean, like look at a team like USC. They were 4-8 last year. We're talking about them maybe going to the playoffs this year, and I think probably like 60% of their team is from the transfer portal. Addison, that's their receiver. I think his name's Jordan Addison. I'm probably not getting the first name right. That dude's going crazy, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that. I think he had like 3 touchdowns, like something crazy.
What school he come from?
I think he was actually from USC. I think he's one of the guys that stayed.
Let me see if I can find him.
Yeah, I think he stayed from last year.
Let's see, there he is. Yeah, Jordan Addison. He's a junior. He came from Pitt.
Interesting, because Slovis went from USC to Pitt.
Holy shit! Last year he had fucking almost 1,593 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. What the fuck?
Actually, now that you say this, I remember this. Because this turned into a big ass deal about like tampering or something. Like Lincoln Riley was talking to him before the fucking whatever, the fucking, which I mean everybody knows they're talking to them like probably throughout the fucking season. But
that's incredible. And I mean, like his first year he only had 666 yards on 60 receptions, and then the next year he only had 40 more receptions and more than doubled his fucking receiving yards. And now he's got
an NFL prospect.
Hey, he's already tied his touchdowns from his first year. He's fucking on 12 receptions, 226 yards, 4 TDs. Like that's pretty.
He's kind of on my Heisman like lower tier. Going from there, Or go ahead, finish your
I was
thought.
just gonna say, if he can even get remotely close to what Devontae Smith did that year, I think he could.
Heisman.
He could pull it.
That was a refreshing year to see somebody besides quarterback, which I love quarterbacks. Like Jade knows me, I'm like quarterback all day, every day. But like it gets a little tiresome. It's just automatically a quarterback.
It's just a quarterback award. I want to see like defensive players win it, man. Like I love defensive players. Like that's my shit.
Charles Woodson.
There's been one since him, right?
Yeah, he's the only one ever, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Aiden Hutchinson had a solid chance for it.
Great player. He looked really solid in that first game, Detroit.
I think other than him, it was like Teo, like the last one that made the final four.
Yeah, he was the year Johnny Manziel won. I think he was like number 2.
I think he was the runner-up. Yeah,
it was him, Colin Klein. I don't even know if you remember him at all. K-State. Yeah,
yep. I fucking hated that K-State.
I forgot about that dude kind of, but I got reminded watching that Manti Te'o documentary.
Is that when Andrew Luck was at Stanford?
Yeah, I think that was his last year.
I think K-State upset Stanford that year, and because like I did not want Stanford to make the fucking championship game. I don't know why I didn't like Stanford, and then they lost off of like I think a field goal or a missed field goal. It's like K-State ruined their season too.
Something like that. It was like Stanford was big that year. Oregon was really big that year. K-State was really big.
It was very weird.
And then that was the year before, like the missed field goal by Auburn. So I can't remember how good Alabama was that year. Actually, they won the championship that year. Never mind. Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, that was probably
because they blew Notre Dame out.
2011 or so, 2010 maybe.
2000. I feel like it was 2012. So I feel like you're at my house like during like some of those big games, like during the season.
Yeah. I think we was in high school for sure.
We were definitely in high school.
So, yeah.
But yeah, going from there, we're gonna do coaches on the hot seat, which when I first brought this topic up, that was before Scott Frost got fired.
I had him on my list as like an asterisk. Like I was just gonna touch on him.
And we actually didn't go over like the number of people. I just picked one. If you have more, go ahead. Mine was Jimbo Fisher at number 1. And then Notre Dame at 2, their coach, Marcus Freeman. Yeah, Marcus Freeman. He's my number 2, but Jimbo Fisher, he had higher expectations going into this year.
He got paid a fuck ton of money too, so there's that.
He's not looking good. I can't imagine the boosters are very happy about his start. But who do you have as like coaches?
I had Marcus Freeman. I mean, fucking. I seen the stat. It was like the last time like Notre Dame like lost 3 games in a row was like an insane like time ago, because he coached the last game last year, their bowl game, and then he's lost the first 2. I think they lost their bowl game and then he lost these first 2 games. So like he's technically lost 3 games in a row. It was it's kind of
that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people don't think he's ready to be a head coach, or he's not good enough. And I don't know. I like his energy, and he's a defensive guy, and their defense looks solid. I mean, they're not bad, but it's like they have no fucking offense to be seen, and they're gonna lose more games. Like they are going to. Like they have good teams on their schedule, and I don't know, especially with their fucking starter and QB out. Like they might not win a game. Like if they keep fucking around, and if they go 5-6 losses, I think he's gone. 100%. Like if he loses the next 2 games, like he's done. There's no point.
He's teetering on it right now, I feel like.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is like the only reason he got the job is because the players wanted him to be the coach. Like the players wanted him, and they was like, all right, fuck it.
I think he's actually a good coach.
I do too.
I think he has a lot of pressure at Notre Dame. He probably should have started out at a smaller school. Because Notre Dame is like, I could think of just a few schools as bigger of a challenge, like Alabama.
I don't even think Alabama would be that bad. Like if Nick Saban got fired today, and they hired the dude at Dollar General bagging groceries to come in there and coach, that team's gonna run itself for a while.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they might lose a few big games, but they're not gonna be losing to fucking Marshall. I'll tell you that. Um, they should not be losing to Marshall. I really don't see an excuse. I mean, yeah, he's had one fucking off season to really recruit, and the recruits aren't even gonna be playing unless he's got some crazy fucking studs freshmen that are freshmen.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say in his defense, I don't know I don't know his transfer portal like status on that after Brian Kelly left. I don't know if
I
you've
don't
looked
either.
into that, but I haven't. For all I know, he could have lost half his team. I don't know though, because it's Notre Dame. They should have somebody talented enough to beat Marshall.
Yeah, and I would imagine they probably lost some people. Some people probably went to fucking LSU with Brian Kelly. Like I don't that does happen. Like a Caleb Williams going to fucking USC. Like but it's fucking Notre Dame. Like there's not an excuse. There's no excuse. I I don't know. I don't see it making it through the year unless they figure the fuck out. But with the no QB, it's not looking good. But they have a badass running back. I don't know why they ain't just fucking like get in the I formation and just fucking run the ball every down. Like they always have big ass linemen and tight ends. They always have great linemen and tight ends. Like just fucking stack up and run the ball. Like don't throw it, just run it.
Yeah, I feel
Bring the
bad. Like
win.
I don't hate Notre Dame, but it's sad to watch.
Yeah, I don't hate them either. Unless they beat my team.
They're just one of those teams. Like there's big schools that I actually like, and it's very few. But Notre Dame is one of them. Florida State's another one I like a lot. That might be it. Like besides OU.
Yeah, now that we're on that topic, I'm kind of just looking through here. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously Florida State, and like I like OSU, Oklahoma State. They're probably out of the two Oklahoma teams, I would root for them. I like Kentucky. I mean, they got fucking who's our coach? Is it Mark Stoops?
Yeah, Mark Stoops. Yeah,
He was our defensive coordinator at Florida State, and
I remember that.
we had really good fucking defenses. I thought he was gonna do like really good, and like they've been building. Fuck Miami. I like Utah. I'm kind of liking Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. I love Lane Kiffin. I like his
So do I.
style.
Yeah.
He's just I don't know. There's something about him, and like I'm always remember those skits. It was like Lane Kiffin being Nick Saban, like because I don't know why it was like they was like kind of looked like or some shit.
I know. I think he fucked Nick Saban's daughter or some shit.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Allegedly.
Ever since then, I always like him, and I wish Ole Miss well. Like they had what was our QB last year? He went to the league.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He went in the first round, I think.
No, he ended up going third, but it's because he got hurt. But he was going to go first round. Did he go to the Panthers?
Like I want to say Kenny Pickett, but he fucking went
no. Let me look him up.
But I mean.
Oh, Matt Corral. I didn't even have to look it up. Yeah, I think he went to the Panthers.
I mean, really, other than those teams, that's really all I kind of fuck with.
Yeah,
that I would say I like.
I feel like since we've been friends, Jaden's definitely the underdog guy. I wouldn't say I'm a front runner, but my teams are definitely not underdogs. Like Patriots, OU, Thunder though. Thunder aren't exactly front runners these days. But at a certain point, they were.
Yeah. Oh man, they fucking suck now. They're just too young.
I'm excited for the future of the Thunder. But moving on from there, we had like one last topic. We'll just kind of touch on it a little bit since it's kind of getting late and we're kind of getting old these days. I feel like, but we got NFL stuff.
Before we transition, I wanted to bring up what do you think about Pat McAfee on the College Game Day?
I actually didn't see that shit.
Oh man,
I saw he had a belt buckle or some shit.
Yeah,
like I'm sure it's fucking hilarious because I love his show.
I watched like all like the highlights of it because I missed it. I think I was asleep. And like I think they had Steve Sarkisian out there, and he was like, because Pat McAfee had this like blue like fucking sport coat on, and I think he had like a tank top underneath it or something like that. And he's like, "Where'd you get that coat? I like that jacket." He's like, "Here, you can have it." He like gave it to him, and he was just going nuts, like Pat McAfee does. I mean, he's got that now he's got that WWE personality. Fucking
I'm
just
surprised
over
they
the
let him
top.
on there. Like honestly.
Well, I think they got him to. I think they're just gonna replace Lee Corso. I don't know if Lee Corso's gonna finish the year. He's not. He don't look very good.
He's not looking healthy. It's
barely.
really, it really makes me sad. He was a big part of my childhood. If you ever played the NCAA games, he was on those. Which those are coming back next year.
Oh, I can't. That's all I'm gonna play.
You see, Clemson doesn't actually have a deal with the game yet.
Good, fuck them.
They're the biggest like school that doesn't have a deal. I'm like, it's gonna be a little weird without Clemson. Like,
I don't care. I don't mind.
you said fuck Clemson. I don't care if they're in the game or not.
I'm gonna whoever the team that they pick to substitute them, I'm gonna pick them and just tank them into the ground for fun. But yeah, Pat McAfee is I think he's a much needed spark on that board.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, Corso, he can't even talk properly. He can't really finish his statements.
He's like kind of a Joe Biden thing.
Like Kirk Herbstreit is literally like his fucking crutch. Like he sees he starts struggling and he kind of just jumps in to like take it off of him.
I noticed like you could tell Kirk like he really loves the guy and he's like really trying to make him look better, but
there's only so much you could do.
But also, if Lee Corso wants to do it, like ESPN should just let him do it. At the same time, he's done enough for them. Like,
I don't think he does another year. I think if he makes it through this year, without God forbid dying, because I mean
he's 87.
He looks like he's right there. I think if he can make it through the year, I don't think he'll be there next year. And I think that's kind of why they wanted to bring McAfee on. They got a new young blood, some spark, like they got some life, some comedy, charisma. Like none of those other dudes are fucking too crazy. Like Kirk Herbstreit's all fucking business.
He's like, borderline. Like I go back and forth on whether I like him or not. Like a lot of the time with him.
And then Desmond Howard. I mean, I don't think is he on there every week?
I think he is. Like he's on there most weeks. He's come out with a lot of hot takes. Like that's kind of his deal.
Did you see his fucking his projected Final Four? Like three of them lost this weekend. Like it was A&M, Baylor, I think Notre Dame, and I think it was Georgia or something like that. Or I know three of them lost.
They're all fucking out of there. I almost want to say he had Oklahoma State in there. I might be wrong though. He had some weird at Baylor. It was Baylor. He had Baylor in there.
I was just like, my man, what are you? Yeah, so he's just kind of all over the fucking place. And then the main dude, I can't even remember his name. Chris Fowler. I really like him. I think he's kind of the anchor of the panel.
He's the level-headed guy that keeps everybody like. Yeah. And then they usually bring a celebrity on like every week as well, which I think they had Jack Harlow.
He was
last week, and he was
terrible.
I thought he was okay. I thought he was kind of funny.
He was funny, but it was just like. I don't know. It wasn't great. But
I didn't watch the entire thing. I just kind of watched his picks.
He would be like he'd be making picks, and he'd be like, "Oh, I knew a girl that went to that school, so I'm picking."
That's why I liked it. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
And eventually, I think the last like two picks, they was like, "Yeah, I know a guy that went to the school," so they was picking fucking teams just like he was. It was kind of funny, but
what did he say? Like he said this one funny ass one where he was like, I was actually with Joe Burrow last night, so I'm picking LSU or some shit. That's why you threw fucking 4 picks, Joe Burrow.
Oh my god, that was a disaster. That game was incredible, but also a disaster at the same time.
Yeah, we could jump into NFL, kind of wrap things up.
How'd your fantasy team do?
I'm last place in the league right now. Not by a lot. Like I scored 90 points. I think there's somebody at 95, somebody at 96. But I fucking Devontae Smith, he fucked me over. He got 0 points for me. Everybody else was doing fine. Like everybody else, I thought played pretty well.
Did he play?
Yeah, he had 4 targets. He didn't catch anything.
AJ Brown is in there going fucking nuts.
See, I thought it was gonna be opposite. I thought people were gonna be double teaming AJ Brown. So that's why I got Smith. I was like, oh, he's gonna be wide open all the time.
I figured he would do, okay, like kind of like the Tyreek Hill role with Kelsey fucking getting mad covered, but I don't know. It's not if you want to go off that one game, it ain't gonna be a good season for him.
I got one. He's got one more week. He's got one more fucking week.
That's how I feel like. I don't even know if I got fucking Allen Robinson with this 1 point having ass. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna even start him this week, man. Fucking Stafford racially avoided him.
Yeah, my team not the best. Jalen Hurts played pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
Hollywood Brown got 12 points. That's not bad. Eckler 9 points. He plays again on Thursday, so hopefully he bounces back. Nick Chubb played pretty good. Mark Andrews, he shut the bed really, really. And then the dude from Jacksonville, Etienne, I don't know how to fucking pronounce his name.
Etienne?
Yeah. He was looking really good. I thought I got a steal. He might still be good, but
they got James Robinson's back, so like that's gonna kind of cut into his.
And Kirk, I don't know, you know him? Like he was the Cardinals
Kirk.
like number 2 guy.
Christian Kirk, yeah.
Yeah, he got 14. I should have started him.
I hit fucking this week. Yeah, I don't know how I feel. Like I should have lost. I 100% should have lost. I came into the final game of the night down by a point with just Mike Evans to play. That's with Patrick Mahomes putting up 33 points off 5 touchdowns. Like, and I'm down a point like in the last game of the night. Like, and Mike Evans pushed me on top, but like Allen Robinson shit the bed. Alvin Kamara shit the bed. Also, I think he's coming off an injury, and I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Fucking Taysom Hill is getting all the goddamn yards.
I saw that shit.
And then my bench is just kind of fucking ass. Like Rashad Bateman was like the only person on my bench that did anything. So, but I got some transactions trying to pick up some people. So we'll see if I can maybe plug some holes on my team.
I'm gonna run it back one more week, and then I'm fucking cleaning house.
I'm trying to pick up a new defense because the fucking Pats, I thought they were gonna be have a good defense, and they got beat down by the Dolphins, and I was like, I don't think they could be that great.
This is one of those years. But I mean, the Patriots always start off bad, like historically. Like our Super Bowl years, we start off bad, but this year, for some reason, it feels different.
Well, so I was gonna keep them because they're playing Pittsburgh next week, and Pittsburgh's
they did not look good. Yeah.
No, they didn't, and I was like, all right, hell yeah, and then putting in for Cincinnati because they're playing the Cowboys and Dak's out. So I was like, they're gonna run the ball. That's really it. And
they need to trade for Jimmy G. That's one thing. They can go to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. He wins. I don't care what anybody says. He's a fucking winner. This Trey Lance nonsense is fucking stupid. He's taking you guys to the NFC Championship 3 fucking times.
Did Trey Lance do any? How did he do?
They lost. I mean, I think he threw like 0 touchdowns, maybe 1 interception. I got him pulled up.
Oh, they played the Bears, and it was fucking pouring down rain.
That's true. That's true.
They couldn't even throw the ball. It's not really his fault.
He ran for 54, which isn't bad for a quarterback.
And Elijah Mitchell got hurt. He was out for the game. So like they're one of the running backs is out. So like, I mean, what can you do?
We'll see. I think it's telling that the 49ers. I'm sure Dallas has picked up the phone.
I would hope.
I bet you the 49ers are still a little wishy-washy on Trey Lance. I feel like he would have already been traded.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, if they weren't wishy-washy on him, then why would you sign Garoppolo to a 1-year deal? Like,
exactly.
When he didn't even want to be there, like he fully expected to be traded or cut or whatever the fuck he needed to do to get the fuck out of there. It just didn't happen.
Maybe I'm just like fucking stupid or something, but like Garoppolo wins games. Like, I don't know what else you want.
Yeah.
As an organization.
I don't think he's too quiet. Like
he's not flashy enough.
There's nothing about him. Like it's like he's got no sustenance to him. Or substance. I don't know which would be the better word for that analogy, but metaphor, whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm talking about? He just
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
he just shows up and plays, like, kind of like Brady was, but Brady was a winner. Um, so I don't know. I think that's probably part of the reason, and they couldn't get the job done with the defense they had and the offensive weapons. Like I think they was like, we seen enough, and you can't finish. Whether or not that's his fault or not, I think they was just like, all right, well, we got this fucking gunslinger who's also can run the ball, which I think every fucking NFL team wants a goddamn mobile quarterback now. It seems like half the league has mobile QBs of some sort. Whether or not
Yeah,
they're
it's
not fully mobile, but they can run. You know what I mean?
it's
It's
really
weird.
interesting though, because like the
Like
last few
3 years
quarterbacks that have won a
ago,
Super Bowl have not been running quarterbacks. Like it
yeah.
usually like the running quarterbacks don't win the Super Bowl. It might be coincidence.
Would you
Um,
consider Patrick Mahomes a mobile quarterback?
I mean he's mobile, but I feel like his go-to is to stay in the pocket. Like I feel like that's his natural like that's where he feels most comfortable is playing in the pocket.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only really mobile QB that has a chance of winning Super Bowl is Josh Allen. That man is just fucking. He's a tank, dude. Even when
Yeah.
he's running, he don't even always slide. He's like, I'm gonna fucking chuck this goddamn cornerback or safety.
Might be the best quarterback in the league. I hate it because he's
He's
Bills. Fuck the Bills. But
he's top three for sure. It's him and Mahomes, and I'd still have Brady up there, even though we've only seen one game and he didn't play that great.
I
But
mean,
until we see otherwise,
they won.
yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, to be fair, their entire fucking like interior offensive line is hurt or out. I don't know really the injuries or the length of time they're gonna be missing, but I think it's their center, left guard, and right guard are out. So like take that for what you will. That's why I didn't want to draft him in fantasy or Leonard Fournette, but I mean Leonard Fournette had a good game.
I
So
regret not drafting Leonard Fournette.
who was your first pick? Eckler?
Yeah, Eckler.
Who was there when you picked him?
Mm, Saquon, I think, was still there, who looked really fucking good.
Dude, I regret not fucking taking Saquon and picking Kamara because I'm pretty sure Saquon was there when I drafted it fucking at the 2-1 spot.
That I think so. I thought you took him, but I guess you didn't.
I took Mixon and Kamara because I was like, all right, Kamara's not going to be suspended. Last time I played fantasy, which was 2 years ago, Kamara won me my fucking fantasy league when he had that like
6 touchdown game or
six
whatever.
touchdown game. Like that was literally the final week of the fucking fantasy season. Like that alone like won me the game. Like so I was
That's
like,
how I lost. That's how I lost the fucking playoffs.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, and Winston's back, so it's not fucking Taysom Hill, and he's not going to be suspended this year probably. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna pick him up. The dude's a fucking and he catches balls. Like I don't know. We'll see, but I'm not feeling too confident taking him over Saquon now.
Fantasy, I'm not feeling great about, but my team when I drafted them, they looked good. I think they could run it back next week. We'll see. Looking at some of the other games, uh, the Giants. What do you think about that? 21-0 or 21-20 against the Titans. Solid
I don't
team.
know. I don't know how the fuck we beat the goddamn Titans. Like I was surprised. I didn't have the game on. Like I was only able to catch 5 games, and I don't I don't know how the fuck we beat them. I mean we ran the ball pretty well. Daniel Jones looked okay. That motherfucker has to perform this year. He's on the hot seat. If we don't have a good year, or he doesn't have a good year, he's gone.
See, I think he's going to have a great year. What do you think about the head coaching hire?
I don't even remember who he got, to be honest.
Dayball from he was the offense coordinator of the Bills.
Oh yeah, I think it's a good pickup. The Bills have been looking good for the last couple of years with him there. So, but I mean, like our last hire, we got fucking I think old boy from Minnesota, their offensive coordinator, Joe Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be a good hire, and turned out to fucking not be, because they had a great offensive scheme and they put up fucking mad points in Minnesota, but I mean, you also have fucking Adam Thielen, and then they got Justin Jefferson, but I think he was gone when they got them. But
Yeah.
and Kirk Cousins is way more consistent. So like I don't know. I think it was kind of a fluke game, to be honest with you. Like we got the Panthers next week. I think we'll beat them. Cowboys now without Dak, week 3. I think we beat them.
The Eagles are going to be your biggest challenge in the
I
NFC
think the
East.
Eagles. I think the Eagles will get a 1 seed, but 100%. And then we got the Bears. I mean, the Bears aren't good at all. If we can stop Justin Fields running on us, I think we'll be 4-0 at the Packers, and then I think Aaron Rodgers will have his shit together. I don't think we win that game, but I mean, surprisingly, like we might have a decent season. I didn't have us projected over fucking 5 or 6 wins this year, but we have a whole rebuilt offensive line. We got decent weapons in the passing game. I think our defense is kind of like our weakness, and Daniel Jones.
It's a very young defense. A lot of potential on there, but not a lot of experience.
There's nobody too crazy. There's no fucking like big superstars. I mean, we literally fucking traded and cut everybody we fucking had.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, I think he's talented. I think he has very similar characteristics to Josh Allen. I think like physically they're kind of built the same way. They kind of have the similar play style. That's kind of why I'm kind of high on the Giants. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they could go like 8-9. I guess now that it's 17 games, like they can't go 500 anymore, but like close to that 500 range.
I mean, shit, at 8-9 we could still fucking make the playoffs because I mean, Dak's gonna be fucking out for a hot minute. So I don't know if they win any games without him. So we'll probably have a better record than them come the end of the year. And I don't know how the Commanders will do with Carson Wentz.
He looked good in that first game. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, I think.
I mean, they did play Jacksonville too, and
that is true.
It was a 6-point difference. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how they look, but if they turn out to be bad, I mean, we could end up easily being second in division and potentially steal a wild card slot if we can pull off an upset here or there. I mean, looking at our schedule, it's not fucking bad. Like the Titans were our biggest game in the first couple weeks. The Packers don't look that great. And Rodgers has nobody to fucking throw to other than himself.
Fuck Aaron Rodgers.
It's fucking Aaron Jones. Like that man might have 1,000 receiving yards as a running back.
This is Aaron Rodgers last year in the Packers. Like I don't see him coming back.
I don't know why he didn't leave this before this year. And then we'll definitely lose to the Ravens. And then the Eagles twice, probably the Vikings. But every other game looks winnable. Jaguars, Seahawks, Texans, Lions. Colts. Colts is the other one that might be a toss-up.
They looked bad that first game.
Yeah.
That was a team I had like very high on my list of like Super Bowl contenders.
Right, and that's the second to last season or second to last game. So fucking maybe they got their shit squared away by then. But that, I mean, if we win all these games, we should win. We're looking at maybe 1, 3, 4 losses, which is fucking astronomical considering how bad we were last year. It was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I mean, outside looking in and seeing how some of these other teams played week 1 and how they've, kind of historically been these past few seasons, 5 losses when I didn't even expect us to win more than 5 games before the season started.
Injuries, man. They shake the league up.
What's your prediction for the Pats? What do you think?
I actually think we'll make the wild card. But I think we're just gonna do the same as we did last year.
You guys played pretty well last year with Mac
Yes,
Jones.
sneak into the wild card, probably get blown out when we get there, but we're missing receive. Like since I've been a Patriots fans, we've had the same issue. We don't have good rushing defense. Like they don't get a good pass rush, and then our receivers we don't have a deep threat ever.
No.
We have Jacoby Myers, great slot receiver. the guy we got from fucking Miami. Uh, he's kind of like a respectable guy.
And then you guys aren't rid of N'Keal Harry, didn't you?
Yeah, he went to I want to say Detroit. I might be wrong, but he's not with us anymore.
I thought he was gonna be solid.
Devontae Parker, that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, Devontae Parker's been
1 reception, 9 yards to start the season. We have a bad habit of getting these good receivers after they're done. It's like
yeah.
that they're over with. Like we got Chad Ochocinco. He caught like 2 touchdowns that year. We've had just Reggie Wayne. We cut him before the season even started.
Yeah, you guys got Antonio Brown there for
Yeah, that's what ruined the Patriots. Like that's what ruined the Tom Brady thing. I think he would have stayed had we not cut Antonio Brown.
He wanted him there.
We cut him for some bullshit accusation. Like it was just stupid.
Yeah, I think you guys. You'll be all right. I think you'll upset some random fucking decent teams. Just you guys. They find a way to win. They're a really well coached team. You guys' defense will be okay. They're not gonna be bad. I think the offense will kind of. You guys got 2 good running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and fucking Damian Harris. Like that's 2
great running backs. Yeah.
Honestly, I would just fucking run the shit out of the ball this year and run the play action.
Mac Jones is actually hurt. Like I saw he's questionable after that game. I didn't see the full extent. I think he'll play, but he might not.
Who's your backup?
I think we still have Brian Hoyer as the backup.
Get Jimmy G to come back.
I'd be cool with it. Mac Jones, I'm a little nervous about. He played good last year. I was never super high on him though.
I don't think he's the answer.
I think he's a placeholder.
I think he's like a really good backup.
A game manager. That's how I see him.
Or if you put him on like a really good team, like I think he would be good. But like you guys just don't have everything that like a fucking really young QB needs. That's not mobile. Like you got no weapons other than the running backs. And like if you put them on fucking I don't know, Philly or the Chiefs, fucking the Bengals, like I mean maybe not the Bengals, their offensive line still looks like ass. Poor Joe Burrow. Yeah, I think, or not the Packers, but the Cowboys, they have a decent offensive line, even though they have all their injuries. Like they got weapons, but I think he'd be okay. But I think I don't think he'll be the starter for a while, like a long time. I think it's maybe the Daniel Jones treatment. I think they let him maybe run out his contract and then maybe start looking to the draft or.
That's kind of how I feel. Like I just don't think he's the guy. Like last year, I honestly wanted us to start Cam Newton. I'm glad we didn't. But like I didn't think Mac Jones was the answer.
He'll probably get 2 to 3 more years unless Bill Belichick fucking gets tired of him.
Or he just retires and then they just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, that'll be a wild day.
I don't think Bill has much longer in him. Like I think he's kind of at the end of it. I think he's desperate to get that last Super Bowl without Brady. I think that's his last thing.
I give him 5 more years max.
Which he's still the best coach of all time. I don't care what anybody has to say about the Brady argument.
Speaking of Brady, I think this is his last year. I know we say this almost every year, but this is it.
It sounds like he's gonna get he's getting a divorce or he's retiring after this year.
Yeah, if he gets a divorce, he might just fucking play until he dies on the field. But I don't think he's that type of guy to just say fuck my marriage. I'd rather just play football, which he kind of did for this year. But because I think he probably had a feeling like he could come back and win a Super Bowl like this year, which I mean they could. But
I could kind of see it from his perspective though. Like I only got a few more years left, and then you get me for the whole rest of my life. But like I can only do this for a few more years, and then it's done. And he's good. Like you play that good, you're not gonna retire. You throw 40 touchdowns, you're not gonna retire after that.
Nope.
If he throws 60 touchdowns this year, he's coming back next year. Like.
Oh, there's no goddamn way. I don't give him more than 42.
I You never know with him. He could throw
I
25. He could throw 50. They'll probably have the same record either way.
True. If he just fucking finds a way to win, that's annoying. He's like a goddamn gnat.
Yeah.
What's your like early picks for the Super Bowl? Like, give me 4 teams you think could win.
So before the season, I actually had the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Throw that out the window. So my second pick was actually the Eagles in the NFC. Like, had the Cowboys, like, something happened with them. I think Jalen Hurts, he's my MVP candidate. That's why I drafted him. I think he's gonna fucking blast off this year.
I wanted him.
I don't know if you've heard him like talk. He just sounds like hungry. Like he wants to win. He's looked good. And then in the AFC, if you asked me this last week, I would have said the Colts. But now in the AFC, probably the Chiefs. Like, that's a safe pick. They're in the AFC Championship every year, pretty much since Mahomes became a starter. I don't know of an AFC team that could beat them at this moment. I'm sure, like, once you get to the playoffs, anything could happen. The Ravens would probably be my other choice in the AFC. The Bills too. They're kind of stacked.
AFC's tough, man. Like looking at it, like I don't know. I might have more than like 4, like, because you got the Chargers and the Chiefs. Either one of them can just go.
That whole division. Denver, Raiders, crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about the Denver, but Raiders, if fucking Derek Carr can figure his life out and just throw the ball to Devontae Adams the whole game, they'll be okay. But yeah, so those 2 teams, the South is just fucking ass. Yeah, before the season, I would have said the Bengals, but they did not look
4 picks.
If they cannot get their fucking offensive lines figured out, they're not gonna have a good year. In the East, I don't know. The Dolphins look okay, and then the Bills look really good. So I'd say the Chargers, Chiefs, the Bills out of the AFC, probably one of those 3 teams.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for the most part.
And then the NFC is fucking very weird. Eagles, I think they'll probably end up being a 1 seed. The Vikings look really good. And I think they'll have a good year. They'll 100% make it the playoffs. I could see the rest of that division not even making the playoffs, like the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hopeful for the Saints and Jameis. I'm hopeful, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
What do you think about the Falcons taking them like to 1 point?
Which is crazy because the Falcons fucking suck. Like, their defense is terrible.
And then you got Mariota, who's really just a placeholder, but he played pretty good. Like,
yeah, he's just holding out until fucking Ritter gets familiar with the the system and playing. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if Mariota can carry him, they might just fucking let him run next season. And then I think the Rams they'll figure it the fuck out. The Cardinals look like absolute dog shit. Kyler Murray looks fucking terrible. Like, I know that they're all like, they always harp on the height thing, and like me and the guys I was watching the game with, like you could fucking tell like his height was an issue. Like he could not see, and he could not throw, he couldn't run. It was very bad outing for Kyler Murray.
He's one of those players, like, he's extremely athletic, so like he'll have that, but he really can't fucking see. Like, you have to design an offense around him doing fucking like bootleg, pretty much runs out, and then the defense already knows where he's fucking going. If he stays in the pocket, he can't see, so it is a tough situation for him. Yeah, they should probably just lean on the run. I can't remember if they have a running back. I'm pretty sure he's pretty solid though. Conner. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so they should lean on that when DeAndre Hopkins comes back.
He just got fucking 5 more weeks.
I drafted him just because I know he's gonna be good when he comes back.
And then the 49ers, I mean, if they can fucking, I think,
Put Jimmy G in.
yeah, they put Jimmy G in. I think they make the playoffs, 100%. Whether or not they care about that and they want Trey Lance to develop for the future, that might be the way they want to go. And then Seahawks kind of surprised me. Geno Smith looked like a fucking stud out there.
Former Giants, great.
Yeah, fuck off.
Rude Eli streak.
I really thought the Broncos would just beat the fuck out of the Seahawks. I really thought I thought Russell Wilson would come in and just blow them the fuck out.
So did I. Did you see that play? I don't know if you caught it, where he threw it and then like the defender dropped a pick, but it looked like he thought he was throwing to a Seattle player.
It could be the thing, man.
He thought he was throwing to his old teammate or some shit, and the defender like almost got it. It was like a perfect route.
I think he'll figure it out. I think there's a lot of pressure playing his form. The only team he's fucking been on.
First game too.
First game, like they played in Denver, I think.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a great quarterback, and he still has a lot left in the tank.
I think they'll figure it out, and yeah, that fucking who knows? Maybe that was a thing, and maybe he was getting fucking weird flashbacks in the pocket under pressure, and because a lot of times he was under pressure, just fucking throwing the ball quick. So maybe he was, seeing the jersey and fucking just slinging it, which it's a very viable. I mean, I don't want to say excuse because I mean that's you're a goddamn NFL quarterback. I mean, you got.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting paid like $200 million. You got to figure it out.
It was like 280 or 260.
Yeah. Figure that shit out.
So like I think they'll figure it out. Hopefully, I mean, I like Russell Wilson, especially now that he's out of Seattle. I'm not a huge Seattle fan, but Seattle, I don't know. That's a weird one. That based off that one game, like they look like they could be pretty good. Especially in that division, if the fucking Cardinals are just gonna be bad, and if the 49ers are just gonna run Trey Lance and not give a shit about the playoffs, like they really only got the Rams, and if the Rams played like they did that week, they're not gonna be good this year either.
I'm confused about the Rams. I don't know what to expect from them at the moment.
Yeah, I mean you got Cam Akers who's hurt still. I don't think he's 100%. I mean, coming off an Achilles tear, like that's a long fucking recovery.
Jalen Ramsey was getting burnt too.
Yeah,
the best corner in football. I'm a little scared.
Unfortunately, I mean that's my guy, but yeah, he fucking Stephon Diggs bullied his ass, and he wasn't even on Stephon Diggs the whole game. Like they was moving him to the other side of the field, and like Ramsey don't necessarily follow. He just locks down that one side a lot of the time, and they was abusing the fuck out of the Rams. And then they was talking about the Von Miller loss showed up because he was fucking the Rams up.
Don't you think it's crazy how they set up all these games? Like, was the schedule out when Von Miller signed on the Bills? Like, they had to schedule that on purpose, right? Like,
yeah, it was crazy because you have fucking Mariota and Winston playing week 1. They were fucking Heisman winner, Heisman runner-up, drafted the same fucking season in the same round.
Played each other in playoffs, yeah.
Picks apart. You got fucking who else? There was some other bigs. You got Baker playing the fucking his former
Browns
team
and lost.
I feel like there was another kind of big story. Green Bay, Minnesota first game that's a big game, especially in their division. And then KC in Arizona, it's a big game for the division too. Like there's a lot of big things kind of on that second level.
I mean, Brady versus the Cowboys is
true.
Most well-known team versus most well-known player.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. And then the Rams and the Raiders playing each other. The last game they played was that one that they almost ended in the fucking tie, and then the Chargers were like, "Fuck no," and they didn't want to kneel the ball.
Oh yeah, that Chargers Raiders it was the last game of the regular season. It was essentially a playoff game.
They were both going to go to the playoffs if it tied.
Yeah, and the Chargers fucking did some stupid shit. I remember.
It was stupid. And then they had fucking Russell Wilson playing Denver. There was 8, 9 kind of big fucking first games that was it seems a little too good to be true.
Deshaun Watson's first game back against the Texans.
Is it really?
Yeah. His week 11 or week 12, whenever it's the first game back against the Texans. I'm like, are you guys fucking serious? Like, you should have suspended this man for a fucking year, probably at least.
That's convenient.
Like, fuck Deshaun Watson.
I mean, looking at their schedule, I mean, they won their first game. They'll probably beat the Jets. Probably beat the Steelers. I could see them beat the Falcons. That's 4-0. Lose the Chargers, 4-1. Beat the Patriots, 5-1. Lose the Ravens, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 5-6. They'll be sitting probably about 5-6, 6-6 come Texans. And I mean, Deshaun Watson's good. Like, don't get it twisted.
He didn't look good in the preseason. Could have just been rustiness.
Yeah, he hasn't played in fucking like almost 2 years, I think it is.
Yeah, he's a great player. Normally, like 1 or 2 accusations, I think it's probably bullshit.
Like
24, 30. Like, I think Deshaun Watson did it at this point. I mean, how many accusations can there be before it's like obvious that he did?
It's not a coincidence.
Like, I get like maybe 3 people trying to get some money at you.
Yeah.
Once we get double digits, it's getting a little fucking fishy.
It'd be even better if he was on the Pats. Everybody, there'd be a goddamn outrage if he only missed 6 games and he was on the Pats. A fucking outrage.
He almost missed 6 games before they did that fucking 11-game suspension.
Did they bump it to 11?
Yeah. So it started out at 6. So I guess like a third party actually decides what the suspension length is. So the NFL appealed that, which I didn't know. The NFL wasn't the one that sets it. They appealed. They asked for more than a full season, like full season and playoffs, maybe even some games next year. And then they just decided to settle at 11 games. So he misses 11 games.
That's such a weird number, 11 games.
Like, it's just so like that he could come back against the Texans. That's what I'm saying. Like
100%.
Have you ever heard of 11-game suspension before in your fucking life?
No, they was looking at the schedule and they was like, all right, they got the Texans this year. 1, 2, 3, 11. Yeah, 100% send it. But
we'll let them back as long as we can make some money.
Yeah, the TV ratings. It's gonna be the fucking internet buzz.
I'll watch it.
He's gonna beat the fuck out of the Texans. I feel it. He's gonna roll in there just dog style.
You know that's gonna be a Sunday night or Monday night football game too.
It's 10 a.m.
Oh, it's like that's an England game then. If it's before noon.
Let's see here. Let's say so Texans are the home team. Yeah, they're playing in Houston.
Really? 10 a.m.
That's what it says. 10 a.m. Pacific. Oh, I guess it would be 11 and then 12. So 11 for us.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, kind of.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I guess you're kind of right there.
Because like sometimes they have games at like 8 in the morning, but they're like in London or some shit. And it's usually the Jaguars. They just send them over there, like, yeah, you guys go over there.
Yeah, I think Jaguars are like the honorary like home team for them.
They're like, maybe they should relocate, but I'm like, you got to relocate a whole division over there if you want to.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Because like you can't have one team just fucking going like across.
Or they'd have to be doing like 5 games straight home, like 5 straight home games kind of type thing, and then like maybe 5 on the road.
Or they actually like practice in the United States and they fly over just to play their games.
That'd be dumb. That would be stupid.
Like, yeah, they shouldn't do it.
Any other big NFL topics?
I mean, like, we could do early MVP, which I actually don't really have one, I don't think, at the moment. Josh Allen probably is my number one.
I'm saying Mahomes and Josh Allen.
That's the new Brady and Manning, like
100%. Barring an injury or like total team collapse, which there shouldn't be. Because I mean, I don't know. There's always that thing where you're like, you have a good team, and you're not drafting well, and you're not getting those early draft picks. Like you're not going to be able to sustain your fucking dominance because you're picking up busts or people that just aren't starters, and then you got to really rely on free agency. So like but I think Andy Reid's a really good manager, and I fucking the Buffalo Bills head coach escapes me. I think they're both very good head coaches.
McDermott?
Yeah, Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
They're both had great head coaches, and I don't think that really impact them like I'm kind of talking about, but like that could be a case.
Yeah. So far, that's like the best young rivalry. That's the closest thing we've gotten so far, which I don't think we'll ever get to a Brady Manning level. At least not for another 20, 30 years or some shit.
Oh, and are they both in the same fucking
Draft class?
No conference.
Yeah, conference. Yeah, they're both AFC, so they could be the AFC championship for years to come.
So they're not gonna be running fucking Super Bowls like Eli and Brady or Peyton and Brady, unfortunately. They'll be knocking each other out before they get there, which is cool because it's.
But I mean, that's how Peyton and Brady were most of the time. They're knocking each other out before, and then fucking Eli would be in the Super Bowl. We'd see.
I don't know. We'll see. I think it's gonna be a good season for NFL football. I'm actually, I don't know, like here late, like these past couple years, I just really haven't been like interested in NFL football. I mean, I think most of it's because I've been overseas, but
see, I used to love NFL way more than college, but something happened where like I think what it comes down to with college is even when your favorite team is kind of out of it, there's still something to see in college that's gonna excite you. It's gonna be fun to watch. Where in the NFL, once your team's kind of out of it, you're just kind of like,
and
it's probably gonna be Brady or Rodgers. Like
you almost kind of know what teams are gonna win every game. Like looking at them, you're like, it's almost always swung in one team's favor decently well. And in the 50-50 games, like you're like, this team's still probably going to win, but there's a chance.
Yeah.
So, and
there's just more passion in college football. Like,
absolutely.
There's just more excitement. Like, I don't know. Like the NFL, it picks up once like you hit the playoffs, but like every season is a playoff. Every game is a playoff game in the college.
You got the crowds, the fucking fight songs. Like it's like a fucking frat party in the stands. Like almost. It's just chaos. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And the NFL, it's like it's so professional. It's like almost boring. And like the plays that they run are so like professional, like 100% plays. Like they know these plays are gonna work. There's no like, oh, let's fucking try this random ass play that we probably tried in practice like a week ago, and like let's just fucking do it. Like NFL, like they're running shit that they know works. They're running like slants. They're running like weird short passes. Compared to college, they're just fucking slinging it.
And see, there's way less of a big play factor in the NFL. Like, NFL is way more of a chess match.
Yeah.
And college football is way more just like exciting plays. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that the players in college aren't good at all. Like, or not all, but like they're not of NFL standard.
Now you
like
might
the best players on the college team go to the NFL.
You might have like in a lot of the games, you might have one dude that might go to the league on either team, and in his career, like looking at both teams in a college game, like none of those players will make it in the draft. I mean, they might get picked up as like a free agent or whatever.
But that makes it better because there's more players that can make mistakes that'll just completely change the momentum of a game.
Or they make a fucking a play and build momentum and it changes their fucking career, and then they get noticed, and then they're in there, and it's just it's so fucking just exciting. It's anything can happen, anything, and almost any team can win. Well, I mean, kind of. Like Alabama can still lose, like, and like compared to like the Pats when they're at their reign, if they're playing the bottom team, like that team's not going to beat them. Like bar, like some like the Giants upsetting the Pats and stuff like that, but like it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
And college, there's just upset fucking city, and it's fucking it's addicting.
Like even this next week, we're talking like these next couple of weeks are gonna suck, but I guarantee you, there's gonna be a couple of games that we didn't see coming.
And yeah, it'll be. We didn't even look at the fucking schedule for next week.
We did skip.
Did we look at the schedule?
No, we skipped this.
I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see. I mean, other than the Florida State Louisville game, we talked about that one. Georgia at South Carolina could be interesting. I mean, they're kind of rivals, You got that OU Nebraska game. We talked about that one. Any other big ones? It's not looking like it. Notre Dame will probably lose to Cal. We got a ranked matchup: BYU at Oregon. Could be exciting if Oregon can get their game together. Penn State at Auburn. That one will be interesting. Oh, I got the best one of the week. UL Monroe at Alabama.
Upset.
That would be sweet. That's fucking pretty much it that I can see. Michigan State at Washington. Nothing to write home about, but Miami at Texas A&M. That's probably the big.
Wait, Miami's playing Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think
that's a good game.
That's kind of the headliner. I don't even think Game Day is going there. I think Game Day is going to fucking Appalachian State. If I read correctly. Who the fuck are they playing? I don't even see them on here. I might have skimmed over. Where are they at? They're playing Troy. I don't know.
College game now. Let's see where they at. Yeah, it looks like Appalachian State. Oh, holy shit.
I don't know. Is that a fucking huge rivalry or something? It has to be.
It has to be, and I'm assuming they're kind of hopping on this like Appalachian State dark horse like bandwagon thing.
I don't know much about Troy or Appalachian State for that matter.
I don't even know what state either one of them are in, quite honestly.
I think Appalachian State's from West Virginia. Troy.
I think they're Indiana. I might be wrong though.
I think they're in that area somewhere, but yeah, not a fucking crazy even week to write home about. I mean, that Miami Texas A&M game, I'm actually kind of excited.
See, that could put the nail in Texas A&M's coffin, or Texas A&M could use that to bounce themselves back.
See, I almost don't want Miami to lose. Like, I like when Florida State's playing and we have these ranked teams, and like
it boosts your schedule. Yeah,
it's gonna boost our schedule. So like, as much as I love seeing fucking Florida lose, like it really doesn't necessarily do us any favors. When it comes, if we have a good season and we are potentially gonna make a playoff run, I mean, I don't know if we will, but if there's the off chance that we are that good, like we're gonna need that help. The week after that, we got Clemson at Wake Forest. It's a good game. Florida at Tennessee. Notre Dame at North Carolina. Arkansas at A&M. Damn, A&M might lose fucking 3 in a row. Arkansas might go in there and whoop that ass.
Damn.
Ooh, K-State at OU is gonna be a good one.
I'm gonna be there. Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
K-State's defense is good this year, and they got a fucking what the fuck's that running back name? Deuce Vaughn, I think his name is.
That sounds about right.
Let me pull him up real quick. I think it's Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is. He's a bad motherfucker. He's got 271 on the year, 33 touchdowns. Almost at 30.
I'm gonna be single if we lose that game.
Jesus Christ, you're an animal. But
I'll kick her out the fucking game.
I mean,
call security.
She's bad luck. I mean, the fucking crowd will carry her out.
They would. They'd be like, get her out of here.
Jesus Christ. Well, I think that pretty much. You got anything else you want to touch on?
No, I think that pretty much wraps everything up for this episode. I think this episode went a lot smoother. Quality overall was better. Was a little bit more organized. If you watched this long, thank you. Again, let us know any suggestions you have, any critiques you have. We'd love to hear feedback because we're just starting this out. I don't think either one of us really knew anything about doing podcasts. So yeah, just let us know what we could do to change it, that you would like to see that maybe improve it. So I'm gonna end the recording, stay on the call, and we can kind of discuss like plans for next week. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.